Good morning and welcome to a virtual worship service of the Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church in Portland, Maine, the church you have just seen evolving in the photos that accompanied Dale Churchill's opening music. My name is Rick Kimball, and I am leading the service, which is titled Finding Me and reflects some of my own becoming. Lay-led worship is a long-standing tradition at A2U2, and most of this summer's services are lay-led. From September to late June, most of our services are led by our minister, the Reverend Donna Dollum. Next Sunday, we will be joining the Auburn Main Church for our virtual worship. This week, our offering will be shared with Furniture Friends, which is a non-profit organization that provides donated furniture to people in need throughout Greater Portland. You can learn more at FurnitureFriends.org. If you would like to contribute, you can go to our website and use the Donate button at the top of the page. After clicking that, please choose the option to give to the plate. You can also feel free to send a check to the church. You are invited to join us today after the service for our congregational conversation and coffee hour, which will include opportunities to share personal gratitudes as well as personal joys and concerns. To learn more about the Allen Avenue Church, please go to our website at a2u2.org. As I light the chalice this morning, I offer for contemplation these words from Lao Tzu. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. With the help of this congregation, may we each and all find it so.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, 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 whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
I once was lost, but now am found. I found myself in me. Some people find themselves in a pickle, and some in a jam, and some at a loss. Some in a zoo or a plane or a mess. Some people find themselves through therapy, some through mystic meditation, and some through a distorting bottle of rum, and still others not at all. I've been finding myself at Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church. More precisely, I've been finding myself here for decades through the unlikely process of looking not inward but out, outside me and often outside A2U2. This is healthy, for life is a journey of self-discovery, and it's time for me to get somewhere. If there is a St. Peter, and if he someday asks me to explain myself, I need to have an answer. I expect that I'm not the only one here being the vague space of virtual reality, to experience the strange process of reaching out to explore the other of you, the other of them, the other of ultimate mystery, looking outward at the unknown and suddenly, surprisingly, achieving unexpected and sometimes unwanted insight into self, looking out and finding in. How very, very odd. I once tried to find myself by staring at a mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I said, am I the deepest, best, most intriguing one of all? The mirror scowled. Give me a break, it said. So I did. I broke the mirror and in consequence hit every red light there was for the next 7 years. You can also try finding yourself with a cell phone selfie, but not easily. Figure the buttons out first. The last time I took a selfie, I got a great shot of my wife's bare knee. An appealing sight, yes, but not very helpful for introspection. Churches work better than smartphones for self-discovery. They provide support for search of self and other and mystery. And small groups within the church help to focus search. Perhaps you have discovered bits of truth about yourself through an A2U2 spiritual enrichment group, or an RE commitment, or maybe choir, or in social justice action. My own greatest insights into self have come through my involvement in the A2U2 worship committee, creating lay services by exploring other, and sometimes discovering by looking out what lies within. I'll share some of my findings in the rest of this service, but for the moment, let's hear some of Dale Churchill's music. When I was a kid, as I've told this church before, my mother paid me $1 to stop punning for a month. Working with the worship committee has helped me find that my humor has more value than that. We joke a lot at our meetings. I don't think we've ever had one without laughter in it. And I frequently find humor bubbling up when I write for our services. A bit of laughter helps me through the moment of nervous introversion that might otherwise unnerve me when I stand at the pulpit. And the humor seems to work well for you, the congregation, as I often see smiles when I share it. Well, I cannot take credit for this humor any more than I can take credit for having 2 feet, which I know I do because I checked this morning. Nor can I claim that my humor makes me special, because so many of you have your own great store. I have heard chuckles in countless worship events led by countless leaders, even in memorial services as we share the precious and sometimes amusing memories of those we have lost. I walk down the church hallway sometimes in the evening and hear laughter coming from almost every program room, often rooms where serious business is being done. Maybe our street sign should bill us as a place of love and laughter. Humor is a life lubricant that all of us need. When my son observed after a recent family swim that my wife Terrell and I were each mistakenly attempting to don the other's eyeglasses, Laughter drowned out embarrassment and the excuse that we were trying to see the world through each other's eyes. But humor can be problematic sometimes when used in worship. Reverend Mike Johnson said that to the worship committee once, and I think she was looking straight at me. Well, what's the danger? That people will focus so much on the humor that they miss the message it is intended to help convey. Indeed, people have sometimes come to me after services and said, "That was great. It was really funny." Wait, I want to say, what about the wisdom that the humor introduced? People prefer my puns to my pontifications, I guess, but I can live with that because writing for the worship committee has helped me find my humor and myself. I hope that your own role in the church will lead you to use introspection and discovery as well. But we should avoid talking too much about humor. E.B. White, the great humorist and Maine resident, warned us of the possible consequences. Analyzing humor is like dissecting a frog, he said. Few people are interested, and the frog dies of it. So let's move on before we hear a loud croaking sound. Move on to a choir anthem about what life should be.
May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, and softly serenade. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
In college, I discovered the Hegelian theory that history can be understood as thesis meeting antithesis, consequently forming synthesis that emerges into new thesis, and so on through the eons. I conclude that the original Big Bang was the sound of opposites crashing together. How else would you get such a sound? Now, listen to the bangs and crashes that fill the world today. The dialectic thunders on. I love Hegel's ideas and have found through my worship committee explorations how much the interplay of opposites explains to me. If it were my choice alone, I might put a giant yin-yang symbol atop our currently unadorned church spire, although I have sometimes advocated a question mark for that space, and choosing between the two would be a tough challenge. The interplay of opposites. Some of you may be tired of hearing me speak that phrase, but how can you not think opposites when you are in a denomination and a church that asks us first to stand and sing, "How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful?" Then tells us to sit and contemplate our many faults. We are racist, we are told, and overly privileged and not diverse enough. What's more, according to the book Turning Points, UUs are overly individualistic, exceptionalistic, and anti-authoritarian, all of which is to say we are too Emersonian. Lord help us. We are trying to be good. We are doing the best we can, and that requires self-criticism, which we have. Who could possibly tell us we are anything less than beautiful? We are UUs and good at finding fault, even within ourselves. Fortunately, our doing so gets the pendulum going. Our beauty and our flaws. Let the interplay begin. Let yin and yang merge and push and give and shove, and a new synthesis of better UUs will emerge. Synthesized UUs that can be seen as new thesis with which somebody will find fault, and so it will go. The clock above my desk is a backwards clock. The hands go what some would call the wrong way, the opposite of the norm. But I tell time by this clock, and I love it. Sometimes Tyrrell and I have snuck it into church meetings and waited to see what happens. Once, in the middle of a creativity workshop we were leading, an engineer suddenly leapt to his feet and said, "That clock is going backwards. Somebody put the batteries in upside down." No, my friends, the hands are going backwards to signify opposites in interplay. Hanging it on the church wall, even temporarily, will let the church do for others what it and its worship committee have done for me. Let them see human history as thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, a synthesis called hope. Perhaps in my will I should bequeath that backward clock or a larger version to the church, with instructions that it be affixed forever to the front of our pulpit. But hey, let's sing about creativity.
We join with God and with Goddess as one. We join in the force of creation. We are one with the moon. We are one with the sun. We are one in the force of creation. In miracle and mystery, we mold and nurture all to be. We are one with the moon, we are one with the sun. We are one in the force of creation. With the hammer and pan, out of sea, sky and clay, we make work, we make play, we make evening and day. We are one with the moon, we are one with the sun. We are one in the force of creation. We dance with the gods, we dance as one. We dance in the joy of creation. We are one with the moon, we are one with the sun. We are one in the force of creation.
We are one with the moon, we are one with the sun, we are one in the force of creation. When I wrote those words, worship committee services were helping me find myself as a creator. The song can be found in my book, The Winds of Creativity. We have sometimes sung it in our A2U2 winter solstice celebrations, which themselves can be seen as memorable creations. We are all creators, of course, as cooks, as poets, as singers, as parents, as carpenters, and as knitters. The list goes on and on. We are creators and should celebrate that fact. We are one with the moon, we are one with the sun. We are one in the cause of creation. I hope very much that we will have a holiday fair this year where we can display our carvings, our pots, our photos, our cookies, and our many other creations, and that people will purchase them to enrich their homes and their lives, as well as the coffers of this church. I hope also that as our church reopens this fall, we can renew our Art on the Sanctuary Wall project to enrich our own worship space and experiences. And I wonder if someday I should go out and tack on our street sign a plaque proclaiming A2U2 as our own great creation by our own great creators. Move over, gods and goddesses. You have granted us creative rights, and we wish to proclaim our success at using those rights. But I turn now from thoughts about what might come to an announcement of what is. I have just completed writing a new and soon-to-be-published book called Butterfly Flappings, Winds of the Mystery. It's a collection of many reflections I have written through the past decades, reflections born of what I have found that I am and what I feel. I hope to have copies available for sale at our holiday event, with at least partial proceeds going to the church. Butterfly Flappings is proof of how involvement with our worship committee has assisted in my self-discovery, because much of what it contains was initially written for our lay services. May butterfly flappings continue to move the winds of creativity, and may it help all of us to know how much our church involvement can assist with our discovery of self and our understanding of cosmic mystery. Now, let's explore the creation of foolishness and nonsense.
We sing of foolishness, of it we sing. Through its soft grace our spirits soft take wing. So we invoke its name in everything. We know that life is paradoxical, that some see best with eyes full blocked by wool, and that the pool of wisdom may be full. So as the clowns we all must sometimes play, we know we may stupidity gainsay, and light the world with truth's bright warming ray.
A high point in the history of the church came many years ago when April Fool's Day landed on the worship committee Sunday. We did a backward service. We began with a response to nothing because nothing preceded it, a response called Nema, which is Amen spelled backward. We ended with opening words. This, of course, was nonsense, and that was the point. If nonsense can have a point without ceasing to be nonsense. The day was personally meaningful, for it helped me to find in myself my affinity for nonsense, an affinity with roots in such seminal literary works as Lewis Carroll's Jabberwocky and Edward Lear's Limericks, roots leading to the leafy branches of my own Weltanschauung, my worldview of life and cosmos. Here's a paragraph from a sermon I once delivered. Nonsense has no why. It has no meaning. It just plain is, and therein lies its fascination. It is existence and universe writ small. We cannot explain it. It is unexplainable, like the universe itself, like the first cause of cosmos, the first cause of all. Nonsense is paradox, for it is profound in its triviality. It is yin and yang, it is dumb, and it is wonderful. It leads us to embrace and not despair the grand absurdity of all. It moves us into the theater of the absurd with Albert Camus, who declared in his myth of Sisyphus that our whole world is absurd. It brings us to acceptance of Kierkegaard's leap of faith beyond logic to spiritual commitment. It joins us in Tertullian's cry, I believe because it is absurd, whether we accept his Christianity or not. When leading a creativity workshop years ago, Tyrrell and I challenged members of our group to talk nonsense. I just can't do that, a woman protested. But her statement itself was nonsense. We all speak nonsense from time to time. We must appreciate nonsense to survive the world of Rudolph Giuliani, who proclaimed that truth is not truth, and led me to observe at A2U2 that if truth is not truth, then sense is not sense, and nonsense prevails as the center of my soul, as the soil of my spiritual path through the mystery. Appreciating nonsense also helps me to survive personal trials, such as the fact that Alzheimer's disease has entered our home and afflicted Tyrrell. Like many other conditions and events of life, both bad and good, Alzheimer's makes no sense at all, which makes it nonsense. Why? Why a condition that leads eventually to thoughts and words and actions defying what we think of as common logic? Sing the joy and sing the praise of nonsense. When unusual forgettings occur at our house, we remove the sting by calling them zings, another word for nonsense. Alzheimer's evokes the great opposites, the yin and yang of life and death. It's a prime form of nonsense that Tyrrell and I, and yes, our friends in the church, live with and so must try to accept. Gradually, I find that I am able to do that, thanks in no small part to the worship committee's recent exploration of acceptance. We can all feel good about accepting what we do not understand, what to us is nonsense. We can be one with William Pitt, the English statesman who said, "Don't tell me of a man's being able to talk sense." Anybody can talk sense. Can he talk nonsense? But let's move on from nonsense to the spiritual. Maybe, just maybe, we'll find a connection.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I search through dream. I search through conscious thought. I search through action. I search myself by searching other. I search myself by involvement with committee and church, and I find within the greatest reward I could ask for my effort, my spirituality, my sense of connection with you, with them, with it, with the ineffable and eternal mystery. I am myself a speck in the mystery, a speck in the speck of the world, itself a speck in the universe, which is but a speck in the cosmos, that speck in the mystery. The tiny black fly bite on my ankle, the bite that is driving me mad, is a speck in a speck in a speck in a speck in a speck of the mystery. Yet that tiny itchy bite wakes me to the fact that I am, that I exist, that I can scratch, that I can act despite my insignificance, that I can flap my butterfly wings, flap them hard enough so winds move around the earth to touch the back of my own head and wake me yet again to life. I am one with and of the mystery, and within me I find the connective forces of acceptance and love, forces allowing me rewarding relationship with all, rewarding for me, rewarding for other, rewarding for mystery, the mystery that takes as well as gives. I accept the vagaries of nonsense. I accept the harsh clashes of opposites in interplay. I accept the creative powers I have to move the winds. I accept the humor that eases our passages through life. I accept all that I find in me and in you with all the love that I can muster. But love, what is that? Tyrrell and I have a bedtime ritual. We kiss, then say, "I love you," and roll over to sleep. One night a few months ago, just after the rollover, I stayed awake and said to myself, we tell each other, "I love you," yet after 57 plus years of marriage, I'm not exactly sure just what that means. But by the light of a new day I did, and I do. Love in long marriage is being one with the lover. Love in larger life is being one with all. Love is acceptance. Love is connection. Love is the mystery itself. I wrote the words to a song about loving connection once for use in our church. I cannot share the music with the broader world because of copyright concerns, but I can share some of the words. Here I am, friend. Take my hand, friend, and together we will find our destiny. Here I am, friend. Take my hand, friend. Hand in hand, we will touch the mystery. By that touching, we find hope. By that touching, we find love. By that touching, we find comfort too. Blessed be.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
I extinguish the chalice with these closing wishes, that you and I and all of us continue to find ourselves by discovering other, that we continue reaching in by reaching out, that through our search we merge as one with eternal mystery, and that we trust this church, this congregation, to enable each and all of us in our search. Blessed be.